The autumn morning brought golden light through the cafe windows. Rachel Harper wiped down tables in the nearly empty coffee shop, her daughter Lily coloring quietly at a corner booth. At 31, Rachel had grown accustomed to bringing her 4-year-old to work during the morning shift. The owner was kind enough to allow it, understanding that single mothers sometimes had no other choice. Lily hummed softly, her brown pigtails bouncing as she worked on her drawing. She'd been having vivid dreams lately, talking about them with the peculiar certainty that only small children possess. "Mama, I dreamed about the nice man again," Lily had announced that morning while getting dressed. "What nice man, sweetheart?" Rachel had asked, helping her with her shoes. "The one who's going to be my new daddy. He has dark hair and kind eyes, and he's very tall. He was sad in my dream, but I made him smile." Rachel's heart had ached at the innocent hope in her daughter's voice. Lily had never known her father, who'd left before she was born. The little girl's dreams of a father figure were both touching and heartbreaking. "Dreams are just stories our minds tell us while we sleep," Rachel had explained gently. "They don't always come true," but Lily had shaken her head with absolute conviction. "This one will, Mama, I know it." Now, as Rachel refilled the pastry case, the cafe door chimed. She glanced up automatically, offering her practiced customer service smile. The man who entered took her breath away. He was tall, probably in his late 30s, with dark hair and an expensive charcoal coat over a perfectly tailored suit. Everything about him spoke of wealth and success, from his leather briefcase to the watch that probably cost more than Rachel's monthly rent. But it was his eyes that caught her attention. Deep and intelligent, yes, but carrying a profound sadness that no amount of money could hide. He approached the counter, barely making eye contact. "Large black coffee, please." "To go?" "Of course," Rachel said, moving to prepare his order. "Would you like to try our apple cinnamon muffin? Fresh this morning. No, thank you. Just the coffee." His voice was courteous but distant. Like someone going through motions they'd repeated 1,000 times without really being present. Rachel poured the coffee, watching him from the corner of her eye. He stood stiffly, checking his phone with the distracted air of someone whose mind was already at the next meeting, the next obligation. That's when Lily's voice rang out across the quiet cafe. "Mama, that's the man from my dream." Rachel nearly dropped the coffee cup. The man's head snapped up, confusion crossing his face. Before Rachel could respond, Lily had scrambled out of the booth and was walking directly toward him, her crayon drawing clutched in her small hand. "You're the sad man who needs to smile," Lily announced with the absolute certainty of a 4-year-old. "I saw you in my dream. You were sitting all alone and nobody was talking to you. And you looked like you needed a friend." The man stared at Lily, his expression frozen somewhere between shock and something Rachel couldn't quite identify. "Lily." "Honey, come back here," Rachel called, mortified. "I'm so sorry, sir. She's been having these vivid dreams and she thinks, 'What else did you dream?'" The man interrupted, his voice suddenly intense. He knelt down to Lily's level, studying her face. "What else did you see?" Lily tilted her head, considering. "You were in a big room with lots of chairs and you were talking, but nobody was really listening. And you went home to a house with no people in it, just lots of empty rooms. You were very lonely." The color drained from the man's face. Rachel hurried over, gently taking Lily's hand. "I'm so sorry. She has an overactive imagination." "Please forgive—" "She's right," the man said hoarsely. He stood slowly, looking at Rachel with something like wonder. "Yesterday I gave a presentation to our board of directors. 50 people in the room, and I've never felt more alone. And last night I went home to a penthouse apartment that's far too big for one person." He focused on Lily again. "How could you possibly know that?" Lily shrugged, unconcerned by the impossibility of what she'd said. "I just dreamed it. And I dreamed that you needed someone to care about you. So I do." The simple declaration hung in the air, the man's eyes filled with tears he clearly wasn't accustomed to showing. He cleared his throat roughly, struggling for composure. "What's your name?" he asked Lily gently. "Lily Marie Harper." "I'm 4.5. This is my mama, Rachel. She works very hard, and sometimes she's tired, but she always reads me bedtime stories." "I'm Julian," the man said. "Julian Montgomery. And you're right, Lily, I am lonely. I've been lonely for a very long time." He looked up at Rachel, and she saw vulnerability in his eyes that wealth couldn't protect him from. "I'm CEO of Montgomery Industries," he continued. "I work 80 hours a week. I have more money than I could spend in 3 lifetimes, and I can't remember the last time someone cared whether I was lonely or not." His voice cracked slightly. "Your daughter saw something in a dream that I've been trying to hide from everyone, including myself." Rachel didn't know what to say. This was absurd, impossible. Children didn't have prophetic dreams. Successful CEOs didn't break down in coffee shops because a 4-year-old claimed to have dreamed about them, but the raw pain in Julian's eyes was undeniably real. "Why don't you sit down?" Rachel heard herself say. "Let me get you that coffee." "No charge." Julian nodded, following Lily to her booth. The little girl scrambled up beside him, presenting her crayon drawing with pride. "I made this for you," she announced. "It's a picture of you smiling. Because that's what you're supposed to look like." The drawing showed a stick figure with dark hair, surrounded by other stick figures holding hands. Above them, Lily had drawn a yellow sun and the word happy in crooked letters. Julian took the drawing with trembling hands. "Thank you, Lily. This is the nicest gift anyone's given me in years." "You're welcome. Now you have to smile for real." And despite the tears still on his face, Julian smiled. A genuine, warm smile that transformed his entire appearance. Rachel brought over the coffee and sat down across from them, still trying to process what was happening. "I don't understand any of this," she admitted, "but Lily's been talking about this dream for 3 days. She said she kept seeing a sad man who needed help, and that we were going to meet him." "I believe in a lot of things," Julian said quietly. "Business principles, market trends, strategic planning. I don't believe in fate or destiny or prophetic dreams, but I can't explain this." He looked at Lily with wonder. "And maybe that's the point. Maybe there are things that can't be explained, only experienced." Over the next hour, as the cafe remained quiet, they talked. Julian shared things he'd never told anyone about the emptiness of his success. About a marriage that had ended years ago because his wife couldn't compete with his work. About days that bled into each other with nothing but meetings and deals and more meetings. Rachel talked about struggling to make ends meet, about the joy and challenge of raising Lily alone, about dreams deferred but not abandoned, and Lily, with the unself-conscious wisdom of children, kept insisting that Julian just needed people to love him, and that was something she and her mama could do. When Julian finally had to leave for his meetings, he looked different. Lighter somehow. "More present, can I come back?" he asked Rachel. "Not because of any dream or destiny, but because I haven't felt this human in years. Because your daughter saw me when I'd forgotten there was anything to see." "We're here every morning," Rachel said softly, "and somehow I think we've been waiting for you." Over the weeks that followed, Julian became a regular at the cafe. He'd arrive early, sit with Lily while she drew, and talk with Rachel during her breaks. He learned about their lives, their struggles, their hopes, and slowly he began to change. He adjusted his work schedule to leave the office at reasonable hours. He donated to causes that helped single mothers. He started a foundation providing childcare assistance to working parents. He became present in his own life instead of just going through profitable motions. 6 months after that first meeting, Julian admitted what had become obvious to everyone. "I'm in love with you," he told Rachel one quiet morning. "Both of you. You've given me something I thought I'd lost forever. A reason to be more than just successful. A reason to be happy." Rachel had fallen for him too, for the man beneath the CEO title. The one who read bedtime stories to Lily, who listened when Rachel talked about her day, who'd learned that presence mattered more than presence. "Lily said you were going to be her new daddy," Rachel replied, tears in her eyes. "I thought it was just a child's fantasy. But maybe she saw something real. Maybe she saw who you could become if someone believed in you." "She saw who I needed to become," Julian corrected. "And you both helped me get there." When Julian proposed a year later, Lily claimed she'd dreamed about that too. The wedding, the house they'd live in together, the baby brother she'd have in a few years. Some of her dreams are just dreams, Rachel would tell people. But that first one, about the sad man in the cafe, that one changed everything. Julian would add, "I used to think success was measured in profits and properties. Then a 4-year-old told me I was lonely, and I realized I'd been chasing the wrong things my entire life. They built a life together that honored what mattered. Julian remained CEO but transformed how he led, making space for humanity in his business. Rachel finished her degree and opened a nonprofit helping other single mothers. Lily grew up knowing that sometimes dreams do come true, especially when they show us what we need rather than just what we want. And in their living room, framed on the wall, hung a child's crayon drawing of a stick figure smiling, surrounded by others, under a bright yellow sun labeled Happy. Because sometimes wisdom comes from the most unexpected sources. Sometimes a child sees truth that adults have forgotten how to recognize. And sometimes one moment of connection in a quiet cafe changes everything. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales about the mysterious ways love finds us. Comment below about a time when a child's innocent words revealed something profound. Their honest observations can show us truths we've been avoiding.